Yo, Xno here, and as a day 1 Genshin player, I have learned that the best way to progress your account is to invest in these particular 4-star characters. This is especially true for F2P players, as you won't always get the best 5-star characters or weapons. But that's okay, because by just being smart with who you're investing in, you will get to a point where you can do any type of content that Genshin throws at you. It is not good to go for niche characters, even if they will be incredibly strong in that one particular niche team, because if the content changes, if the Spiral Abyss changes, that team may not work. The key is to collect the characters who are flexible and can be used in many different team comps while still being very strong damage-wise. So over the long run, you will have a blanket of amazing 4-star characters to team up with the occasional 5-star characters that you will get. Now, a couple of disclaimers. Number 1 is, yes, there are must-have 5-star characters, but for every must-have 5-star character, there is a substitute 4-star character that works very well. Number 2, yes, all characters can be made good or viable with enough investment and willpower, and the game is easy enough to allow you to do this. Waifu over meta, right? I agree with that. I have a triple crowned Amber, come on! But this is for those who are limited on the resources and want to have the best use of those resources. Number 3, yes, there are 4-star characters who are amazing at being a main DPS, but a main DPS can easily be replaced when you pull a better unit. These recommended characters will be amazing sub DPS or support picks for many different main DPS units. And finally, all characters will be good at CE0 and even better the more constellations you get, unless otherwise noted. And we are going to start it off with the best, the must-have 4-star character in the whole game, Aloy. No, I'm not kidding. Don't get Aloy. We're talking about Xiangling. Xiangling is the god of Genshin Impact. She is the secret Pyro Archon. You will not get a better 4-star character than Xiangling. And amazingly, I think if you make a new account, you can still get Xiangling from clearing the Spiral Abyss floor 3 or something. An amazing 4-star character for free. You can put any spear on her and she will destroy many different types of enemies, especially when you're doing reactions with her, and she can fit into many different team comps, almost any team. You can put a Xiangling in and she will slap. She is the best Pyro applicator in the game. You will not get a better Pyro applicator than Xiangling. If you need one, use her. If you just need damage, you can also use her. Just getting C4 and getting that Pyro Nado duration increased by 40% is a huge deal. The next character that you must get is another Pyro boy. Bennett can do many things. He can heal and he can give a huge attack buff. And he can do both at the same time with constellations, with C1 specifically. The thing about Bennett is he heals for a ton per tick. Huge heal. Even with low investment, he will heal for a ton. And while he's healing, he's giving you a massive attack buff in an AoE. This very fact that he provides an attack buff, a huge attack buff, which is based on his own base attack, makes him so that he can be put into many different teams just to buff the attack of your whole team or your main DPS hyper carry. Now, you want to get constellations on him. However, you don't really want to get C6 unless you really know what you're doing. He will infuse other characters' melee attacks with Pyro. So if for example, you're running a main DPS physical character, you don't really want to use a C6 Bennett. You're going to go for maximum C5. And that will increase the level of his burst, which means he will provide more attack buff. Yeah, C6 in truth is not as bad as people think. There are many different team comps that will rely on the sub DPS skills doing reactions together. So the normal attack damage of the main DPS doesn't really matter as much. And some normal attack infusions cannot be overridden with Pyro, with Bennett's Pyro. So it's not that huge of a deal. Unless you like physical main DPS, like me. Because I like the physical DPS. I like my Eula. The next 4-star character that you must get is Xingqiu. Now I know he looks dumb. I personally think he's one of the dumbest looking characters in the game. But he is one of the strongest characters in the game. At least 4 stars. So with Xingqiu, you get massive hydro damage and massive hydro application. Tons of hydro application whenever your main character or character on field does any normal attacks. It also helps that Xingqiu has some damage mitigation and some healing. but mostly you're looking for the massive damage, consistent hydro application. More constellations, the better. Any sort of team that needs reactions, you want to get Xingqiu in there. He is just the best 4-star character for applying hydro and also big damage. He also has the thickest legs in Genshin apparently. So we've done Pyro and hydro. Now we do have some contenders for Electro. So let's talk about Fischl. Fischl, incredibly low investment, and you don't even need to build her with energy recharge, because most sub DPS and support characters, you need lots of energy recharge so that their rotations are smooth. You always have the burst up. You just build her like a normal DPS unit and you'll get lots of damage from her elemental skill. And even when she's not there, Oz will keep attacking enemies with decent damage, decent single target damage. And that is the beauty of Fischl. You can put her in any team. You just pop her elemental skill and peace out. But there are other contenders, and I would say Beidou is one of the best as well. She does rely on burst. However, Beidou deals more multiple target damage. She deals way more multiple target damage. It's less relevant in boss fights, but in Spiral Abyss, where there's lots of enemies, her burst deals tons of damage. A C2 for Beidou is a huge upgrade in multiple target scenarios. If there's only a single target, then it doesn't really matter. Of course, C6. Eventually, you want to get C6 because the Electro res decrease. Now, for any Anemo needs, you want to get Sucrose in there. If there is any content where you need to do lots of elemental reactions or you need some CC, you can put Sucrose in the team, and she will make a mess of every element in existence, and her burst also applies lots of CC to the enemy. So with Sucrose, you just slap a 4-piece VV set on her with triple elemental mastery stats, and you'll be doing tons of elemental reaction damage. She will beef up your elemental reaction based team by quite a lot. She is a great investment for a 4-star character. Another must-have 4-star character is Diona. Diona has good cryo application and amazing shields and healing. If you need survivability, you gotta get Diona. If you need cryo application, you also want to get Diona. Now, there are other options when you're thinking about cryo applications. There's Kaya and there's Rosaria. Kaya has incredibly consistent cryo application. However, his burst, you need to be near the enemies, so he works really well with melee characters that are main DPSs. With Rosaria, she has an area of effect burst. If the fight moves out of that area of effect, then her burst isn't really helping you. However, I still prefer Rosaria over Kaya because Rosaria gives crit rate to the team. You want to think about the crit rate that Rosaria gives and her AoE that doesn't follow the character versus Kaya's burst, which is a small AoE around him, but it does follow the character. Diona's advantage is that she gives shields and healing, which both of these two don't have. Also, one important thing about Diona is when you get her C6, because eventually you'll get these constellations anyway if you play the game for a long time, and especially if you are targeting these good 4-stars, her C6 gives 200 elemental mastery to the character within that AoE, which is huge for elemental reaction based teams. And finally, we have Yao Yao for the Dendro applications. Yao Yao is amazing because she can also heal, and in a lot of Dendro teams, there's usually no healer. Dendro is amazing because it shook up the meta. There were a lot of teams that were created and a lot of characters that were made viable who were previously not viable with the release of Dendro. And so if you're playing Genshin and you wanna up your game, Dendro reactions are kind of a separate category altogether. It just increases your DPS by quite a lot when you do Dendro-based teams. And your best choice is Yao Yao from all of the 4-star choices. Good application, good Dendro application, and also gives lots of healing. So those are the best 4-star characters that you have to invest in. Remember, you can invest in whatever you want. I'm not trying to tell you how to play your game. I'm just giving you tips because resources are limited for an F2P player, and you want to make sure that if you really want to make your account stronger, you want to think about which characters you're investing in. And these characters, you will give you bang for buck. So make sure that when these characters appear in the Paimon's Bargains shop, you snatch them up, especially when they would fit in a current team that you're using. And then, when you're looking at a 5-star banner, if it's a 5-star character that you're on the fence about, think about who the 3-star characters are on the banner. You'd be able to make a better decision regarding whether to pull for the banner or not because of the 4 stars that are available there. Like in this case, you got Xingqiu and Beidou. amazing characters. You got Hu Tao, amazing 5-star, Yelan, amazing 5-star, combined with 2 amazing 4-stars, great value for your Primo Gems. So you want to think about that. You might notice that I did not put any Geo character in the must-have 4-stars. Well, because there really isn't a must-have 4-star Geo character in my opinion. You can make Geo mono element teams, which are very high investment. They're not really that flexible. When there's Spiral Abyss or content that needs elemental reactions, the Geo teams will struggle and you will have to put some type of other element in the team. Geo mono element teams, kind of niche. I don't really recommend investing in them until you have some flexible characters and then you're set with most content. Then you can do some Geo teams. I'm a big fan of Geo, honestly, if I'm being biased. I got a Triple Crown Noelle. Where's my Noelle? Yeah, if you want to talk about these characters with other people in the community, join our community at discord.gg/xfam. If there's anything you disagree with or you want to point out in the video, I'd love to know your opinions in the comments, and I'll see you around. I want to give a huge shout out to our Facebook supporters. Thank you so much. You guys make this possible. I've also opened up the YouTube memberships. Hey, you might be the first.